6. Solving quadratic equations. Blank times blank equals 0. What must be true if two things times to equal 0? If two things multiply to equal 0? One of the numbers must be 0. That's the only way to multiply to 0. Blank times blank equals 0. Then one of them must be 0. Quadratic equations have an x squared term in them. We solve these by setting each piece equal to 0. Solve for x in each example. Example 1. X minus 4 times x plus 1 equals 0. The parentheses mean multiplication. The only way to multiply and equal 0 is if one of the things equals 0. So equal either the first parentheses equals 0 or the second one equals 0. So either x minus 4 equals 0 or x plus 1 equals 0. The only way to multiply and get 0 is if something was 0. Then you solve each of the separate equations. X minus 4 equals 0, you would add 4, so you get 4. X plus 1 equals 0, to solve for x, you would subtract 1, so you get negative 1. X equals 4, x equals negative 1. Notice we have two answers now. Example 2. X plus 2 times 2x minus 3 equals 0. Same idea, we're multiplying to equal 0. The only way to do that is if one of the things was 0. So either the first parentheses equals 0 or the second parentheses equals 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. Solve that by subtracting 2, so negative 2. 2x minus 3 equals 0. Solve that by first adding 3 to both sides, so you get 2x equals 3, and then divide by 2. So 3 divided by 2 is your answer, along with negative 2. Example 3. Solve 3x times x minus 5 equals 0. This is still multiplication because we have 3x times x minus 5. We're not going to multiply it out because we're trying to solve for x. So either the 3x equaled 0 or the x minus 5 equaled 0. The only way to multiply and equal 0 is if one of them is. So 3x equals 0, divide by 3, you get 0. X minus 5 equals 0, add 5, you get 5. X equals 0, x equals 5. Example 4. 2x times 3x minus 1 equals 0. So either 2x equals 0, divide by 2, you get 0. Or 3x minus 1 equals 0. Solve for x, add 1, you get 3x equals 1. Divide by 3, you get x equals 1 divided by 3. Okay, we're solving each of those equations. What if the problem is not set up parentheses? You will have to factor first. Solve for x in each example. Example 5. X squared plus 9x plus 18 equals 0. So either x plus 6 or x plus 3 equals 0. How did we get that? We factor the x squared plus 9x plus 18. It's a trinomial with an understood 1. So you want two numbers that multiply to 18 and add to 9. That's why we have x plus 6, x plus 3. If you wanted to check that, you could FOIL, and you would get your trinomial. So set each one equal to 0. X plus 6 equals 0, subtract 6, x equals negative 6. X plus 3 equals 0, so subtract 3, x equals negative 3. Set each one equal to 0 and solve. Example 6. Solve x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0. First, we have to factor. It's a trinomial with an understood 1. So what two numbers multiply to 12 and add to 7? That would be 4 and 3. So x plus 4 times x plus 3 equals 0. Set each one equal to 0. X plus 4 equals 0. Subtract 4. X equals negative 4. X plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3. X equals negative 3. Example 7. Solve x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals 0. That's another trinomial to factor with an understood 1. What multiplies to negative 10 and adds to negative 3? Positive 2 and minus 5. So x plus 2 times x minus 5 equals 0. We factored that trinomial. Set each one equal to 0. X plus 2 equals 0. Subtract 2, x equals negative 2. X minus 5 equals 0. Add 5 on both sides, so x equals 5. Example 8, 2x squared minus 10x equals 0. We're going to factor, this time we're factoring a common factor of 2x, which would leave x minus 5, because 2x times x, 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 minus 10x. 2x equals 0, and x minus 5 equals 0. 2x equals 0, divide by 2 on both sides, you get 0. X minus 5 equals 0, add 5, you get x equals 5. Two answers here, anytime you have x squared. Example 9, x squared minus 49 equals 0. That's a difference of squares. X plus 7 times x minus 7 equals 0. X plus 7 equals 0. Subtract 7, x equals negative 7. X minus 7 equals 0. Add 7, x equals 7. Two answers. What if the equation does not have 0 in it? You must rearrange the equation so that one side has 0. You can have 0 on either side since it is an equation. There are a few rules when getting 0 on one side. Number 1, make sure the x squared part is always positive. Number 2, make sure it is in descending order. Example 10, x squared plus 7x equals 18. We don't have 0, so we're going to subtract 18 on both sides because that x squared is positive, so leave it alone. Now, on the left side, x squared plus 7x minus 18, those weren't like terms, and I put it in descending order, square x number. On the right side of the equal, 18 minus 18 equals 0. Now we're going to factor. It's a trinomial with an understood 1x squared, so what multiplies to negative 18 and adds to positive 7 would be 9 and negative 2. So x plus 9 times x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 9 equals 0. Subtract 9, x equals negative 9. X minus 2 equals 0. Add 2, x equals 2. When you're solving equations, you're working until you get x equals. On these x squared problems, you always have to factor. You want to get that 0 over there. Example 11, 5x squared equals 18 minus x. Get it equal to 0. Let 5x squared stay where it is so it stays positive. Okay, so the 18 minus x, I'm going to get 0 over there. So I'm going to subtract 18 on both sides and add x on both sides. Okay, on that right side, 18 minus 18 and negative x plus x gives me 0 on the right. Now on the left side, I don't have any like terms. 5x squared, 18x, nothing's a like term, but put it in descending order. So that means the 5x squared plus x minus 18 is the correct order. Now you're going to factor. This time the factoring's harder because 5x squared has a 5 in front. So you're going to use trial and error. You can check your factoring by foiling out that binomial times a binomial. So set each one equal to 0. 5x minus 9 equals 0. Add 9, so 5x equals 9. Divide by 5, so x equals 9 over 5. X plus 2 equals 0. Subtract 2, so x equals negative 2. When you get it set equal to 0, your x squared, whatever number's in front of it, you want it to be a positive number. And you always write descending order. X squared, you want it equal to 0 and factor. That's the end.